Good morning, YouTube. Another work light. This is a Voltax from Dollarama of all places. It's about $5, and it's got cob lights in it. Runs off 4 AA batteries, which are in behind here. So we'll pop this open for you. So there's your 4 AA batteries. I'm holding them because they have good springs on them, and it kind of pushes up on the batteries a little bit, so they can fly out. And of course, they come with batteries, which are some kind of a super heavy duty cheapie. Anyways, so you got 2 lights on this thing, 2 light modes, 1 button. Okay, so first button hit, that's your front light. Second time you hit it, there's your other one, and then off. Pretty simple functionality. Has 3 magnets on the back. Now the magnets, I gotta say, they're not exactly what I'd call strong, but they're kind of okay-ish. Okay, they're just not that strong. It does have a hook as well, so if you're using this as a work light in your garage at home, you know, because I would not suggest professional use, although you probably could do that. You're just gonna have to be careful with it because, well, it is cheap. It is from the dollar store, and it's likely not gonna take a really hard impact. So if we were to hold it up here, that's about 4 feet, and we dropped it, something is likely to get damaged. Probably the first time, the battery cover may pop off somehow and the batteries fly out. Otherwise, the damage may not be too extensive, but it's not what you would call work grade quality. So they've called this a multifunction utility light, although the box with all of them in it did kind of signify that it's a work light, but it could be used as one. I have had Dollarama lights before. I've used them as work lights. They were marketed as such, as a specific work light, and yeah, they actually worked pretty good. But mind you, you're talking about a work light that's going to use a couple of AAA batteries, about 3 of them, I think is what my other ones use. As far as longevity goes, though, I got a couple of brake jobs done before the batteries were a little on the 2-week side. Now, mind you, I'm a lot careful with my stuff than what a lot of people tend to be. So for a very cheap but viable solution for my purpose, I work on RV trailers with my landlord on the property here. And, you know, I've bought expensive work lights that just didn't last long. I mean, they malfunctioned. I mean, they were durable because they're made out of metal and stuff, but they just didn't seem to last long. But that's what you get for buying off Amazon sometimes too. You got to be careful about what you get, because sometimes you do get what you pay for. So I opted out that I'm not spending $30 on a work light again. I started buying these things from Dollarama in various models, because even the Canadian Tire ones, well, they didn't last long either. Especially anything that's named Mastercraft is weak power output, and the quality just really is not there either. You would have been better just going to the dollar store, okay, because a lot of them were that bad. But then again, I've also had my good scores too from Dollarama. I've had good scores from Home Hardware on some cheap work lights too. So it does kind of vary. But I saw this and I thought, wow, they got this in a couple different colors, including with the red and black, and and they got blue too. I opted for the green because this is one of my favorite shades of green. So I thought, what the heck? But anyways, let's see actually how bright this thing is. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm actually going to turn my computer monitor right off so we can really pitch dark this place good. And we're going to see how bright this thing can really go. So I'm going to stay in behind the camera not to blind it. And then I'm going to start with the first light, the little tiny cob. And that's actually not bad. I mean, if you needed to even get around the yard with this thing, you don't expect a lot of distance for the light, but expect it's definitely going to light things up in your pathway. Now, as far as the second light goes, that is a lot brighter. That works exceedingly well. Okay, so let's go in front of the camera now. So, if we hold it overhead like this, now this is the bar light, that's actually pretty good. That's not bad. All right, I'm gonna switch over. That's off, and we got just a little bit of light from my LEDs. And then of course this light here. So it's actually quite bright, quite nice, quite bright. All right. Well, we'll go turn the lights back on. Now, it does have a number of screws holding it together. You've got 2, 4, 6 for sure. And then we'll pull the batteries out of this thing for a second and see if there's any more screws holding this thing together. And yeah, we've got 2 more in here. So that's it. So we do have quite a few screws holding together. So the chances of a drop explosion are not, they're pretty good that it's going to survive. Okay. But you can feel that it is cheap plastic, obviously. That's kind of a no-brainer on that one. But, and these batteries, they're called, look like H-cell. And I just call them super heavy duty. So it's like, okay, it is what it is. Anyway, but I like to check out the tech area at the dollar stores all the time, because you never know what you're gonna find. Sometimes you can get some decent little scores for, you know, $4 and $5, and you know, $3, and well, this was $5, and I thought, well, hey, that's not bad. Looks kind of cool. And I mean, you know, to be honest, you can't even buy either one of those cobs separately online for $5. It's going to cost you a lot more. So when you think about, you know, mass production society, I mean, considering everything in this, that's actually not bad for $5. And that's a great, you know, around the house kind of deal. Now, I've got magnetic type of ceiling in here because I have a drop ceiling. So we have the frame. So let's see how well it holds to that. That actually holds pretty good. So we'll move that forward. Like I said, they're not strong magnets, but let's do that. So that's all by itself. I have no hands. Oh, excuse me. And then, of course, the bar light. That's not too shabby, and it is staying up there. So, but they are not strong magnets. Just keep that in mind. If you're looking for something with strong magnets, best be spending and ponying up some dough, because these cheaper lights, even $20 lights I've found, the magnets are not the strongest. So it depends upon your use. Bottom line, depends on what your use is. I think for something that, for around the house, if you've got a magnetic surface that this will stay onto for the position where you need it in, very practical, okay? In the shop, probably just as a general, you know, lay it down on the ground kind of deal and have the cob pointing up, 1 or 2, whatever. You know, this is not a kickstand, it is a hanger, so you can hang it off something and light your area up as well. Just remember, if you are going to use this in your garage, whether it's at home or perhaps in a professional use because you're a bit of a cheapskate at the time, or it's an emergency thing where, well, at least you're close enough to the dollar store, you know they sell flashlights, you can always get something, and they got this. This is going to work for you for a while. Either way, until you someday self-destruct it by dropping it or whatever, okay? It's not a big loss for $5 if anything happens to this thing. And that's how I kind of look at it myself. I still have 2 of my work lights, which are the square style Voltax. If you check up this brand on my channel, you'll find them. And I still have them. They still work. I have kicked them across the ground in the shop. They have dropped a few times. They're fairly durable. I mean, I gotta say, it's just that there's so many bloody lights in each one of the units that the batteries just don't get the longest usage, okay? They do kind of suck the power back a bit. So that's a thing where I finally took them out of service, and now I'm using flashlights that have a cob light on them, and I've got other workarounds that now work better for me for when I'm underneath an RV trailer and I'm trying to set the brake shoes up. And yeah, I've got better solutions now, right? And that's fine for me. The other ones, I can keep them for emergency lighting around the house, works just as well too. Same as this deal. You can use this for emergency lighting around the house because you do have the front one, which can definitely get you around the house, indoors, outdoors. Then you've got the cob if you need some extra light. So even in a power outage, I mean, there's nothing that beats a flashlight. And the cob lights produce an awful lot of power, but they also draw a lot of power at the same time because they're so bright. So as for how long you're going to run even off of the batteries that are included, don't know, but you're definitely going to do way better with Energizer or Duracell batteries. When you look at that for the long haul sort of thing, they're going to run for a lot longer, and just even sitting there in the light not being used, they're going to have a lot longer longevity than cheapy batteries tend to. So half one dozen the other. It's kind of up to you. But I think that as far as fit and finish goes, they did a really great job on this for $5. I like the hanger idea. Now, the hanger can also be easily removed if you don't like having the hanger on there, and that's fine. That's kind of your thing. It's up to you. And then you can just pop it right back on. It's just a spring wire, right? The magnets, they hold okay, but they're not the greatest. Just keep in mind they are weak, but they will hold, because we just did that on the drop ceiling here. So that worked out fine. But otherwise, they're not very strong magnets. Quality of the switch, that feels like a good quality switch. Waterproof, no. Water resistant to a certain point, obviously. If you're out in the rain with this thing, you're not going to hurt anything, but I would still take it apart afterwards because there are seams that water could get through because of the battery cover at least. And I would definitely remove the batteries if you're having this out in wet weather, and then just let the whole unit dry off before putting the batteries back in. My advice anyways. So for $5, I say that overall we'll give this thing a solid 4 out of 5. And if it's something that can be useful to you, by all means, go to your local Dollarama. They do have, like I said, different color schemes to these things. Pick up 1, pick up 2, pick up 5, however many you need for whatever purpose. I think they're pretty good. Overall, I think they are pretty good. This one is not going to be seen in the workshop. I'm leaving this one for in-house use only, inside the house. And I'll probably use it once in a while, maybe outdoors, if need be. And definitely for the power outages, because I don't mind popping this up on one of my drop ceiling areas in the house. And then I can just let that run and give lighting until the batteries decide to die. Okay? Type of thing. We have a lot of emergency back lighting. We live in the country, so you get power outages out here. It is blacker than black gets. I mean, there is no seeing your hand in front of your face unless the stars are out or the moon. You might see a shadow of your hand. Okay, so kind of like it. But anyways, that's what we got for you today, guys. Let me know what you think if you've had one of these things. Did you drop it? What happened? I'm not doing drop tests. I don't want to wreck it, but in my suspicions of what will happen in a drop, you've got my thoughts behind that. But still, everything's a theory until proven fact. But if I do drop it, I'll let you know. Maybe we'll do an update review when that happens. Go, oh, I dropped it from this height. This is what happened, and it either exploded into a million pieces or it survived. But if it survives one, it doesn't mean it's going to survive all. Just saying, okay? A lot of products, even expensive ones, are the same way, but there you go. Anyway, see you in the next one.